How was last night?
Scary. I live in the high rise right back here, and I seen them as they came down Lake Street. But then they turned and started coming over here, and I'm sitting out looking out my window. And they went straight to Office Max, the dollar store, and every store over here that I go to. I have nowhere to go now. I have no way to get there because the buses aren't running. These people did this for no reason. It's not going to bring George back here. George is in a better place than we are. And last night, I'm going to be honest, I wish I was where George was because this is ridiculous. These people are tearing up our livelihood. This is the only place I could go to shop. And now I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere to get there.
All right, guys, so happy waste of taxpayer money day, right? That's what I'm calling January 6th. Waste of taxpayer money day because at the very least for the next 3 or 4 years, this day will be used as an excuse to waste taxpayer money talking about January 6th and what happened that day as if it still has a material effect on the life of the average American, right? The only real effect that January 6th still has on today is the censorship that is happening to conservatives and the political persecution and all the smears that the mainstream liberal media and the Democrats are leveling at conservatives and using January 6th as an excuse to do so, right? That is the real impact of January 6th, to be quite honest with you, okay? In my humble opinion, versus some events that preceded January 6th that, in my opinion, you could argue was a precursor to January 6th, in which you had people out on the streets rioting over being dissatisfied with the government, right? They didn't like the government, so they got out in the streets and destroyed communities, destroyed neighborhoods, destroyed stores, businesses. People lost their lives, looted. They did all types of crazy stuff, okay? All types of crazy stuff that happened for multiple months, okay? Multiple months all over the country. All over the country. But regardless of that, the Democrats and the mainstream media are going to come up here and talk about January 6th as if it was the worst day ever. And we're going to start off with Kamala Harris, who does not disappoint, basically coming out here and comparing January 6th to Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Take a look.
Fellow Americans, good morning. Certain dates echo throughout history, including dates that instantly remind all who have lived through them where they were and what they were doing when our democracy came under assault. Dates that occupy not only a place on our calendars, but a place in our collective memory. December 7th, 1941, September 11th, 2001, and January 6th, 2021.
All right, guys. So, I've come up here countless times and told you guys how I feel about January 6th and how I definitely think what happened that day was not a good thing, right? And that it was wrong for the most part, what happened. Okay, but let's not sit here and try to compare January 6th to Pearl Harbor and 9/11, okay, where we lost real American heroes when foreign enemies attacked this country, okay? I think just even comparing those two, considering the lives that were lost, like real American heroes, I think it's disgusting. Okay, and it just shows you that the Democrats will stoop as low as possible for political points. Okay, they'll stoop as low as possible for political points, in the sense that they will compare what happened on January 6th to a foreign terrorist attack. That's what they'll do. That's what they'll do. And I think what's even sadder is that you do have some Republican politicians out here that are in Washington reciting some of these same kind of talking points that the Democrats and the liberal media is using. Take a look.
Solemn anniversary this week, and it is an anniversary of a violent terrorist attack on the Capitol, where we saw the men and women of law enforcement demonstrate incredible courage, incredible bravery, risk their lives to defend the men and women who serve in this Capitol. We are grateful for that courage. We appreciate the selfless sacrifice of the men and women who keep us safe.
Yeah, so if you showed me a transcript of what Ted Cruz just said and you didn't mention that he said it, I would think that Joe Biden said it, right? Or somebody in mainstream liberal media said exactly what Ted Cruz just said. Now, again, hey, at the end of the day, I mean, listen, what happened on January 6th was bad. It was wrong. But, I think calling it a terrorist attack, okay, is you're playing into what the Democrats are trying to do with January 6th. They're trying to make it one of those things where people talk about it forever, right? They're trying to associate it with 9/11, Pearl Harbor, like actual real terrorist attacks, okay? I don't think January 6th is that. Was it bad? Yes. But is it that? I don't think so, right? So it's kind of sad to see Ted Cruz repeat Democratic talking points because it's not like he's even going to get brownie points for it, okay? Because these people, quite literally, they want to lock GOP politicians up. Kind of like what Eli Mistal went on MSNBC and basically advocated for. Take a look.
I mean, this argument is exactly the argument they gave me about Robert Mueller. Oh, he's crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and he's going to come down the pipe, and Mueller did nothing. And quite frankly, if Garland wanted to prove that he was this guy, this dedicated, dogged public servant who was going to pursue justice to the end of the earth, well, he's still got the Mueller report sitting there. Mueller outlined 10 instances of obstruction of justice and didn't prosecute on those. Well, Merrick Garland could, but you notice that he's not. And so that's why I keep saying he can talk the game, but look at the man's actions. If he was willing to go after Trump for crimes that Trump committed, he's already got the Mueller report, but he's not acting on the Mueller report, is he? So now he's going to say, like, oh, we're doing all the things to cross the T's and dot the I's about this other investigation that maybe, I mean, that's why I keep saying it goes back to trust. Maybe, sure, this great white institutional liberal prosecutor will totally get Trump this time. Not like the last one who did. Like, that's what you're selling to me. And there are going to be people who believe that. Again, I want actual evidence that this man is willing to take on the powerful, politically connected Republicans who did this to us. And so far, I don't see that evidence.
Yeah, so people on the left, like this guy, and I'm pretty sure a lot of others, they want to lock people like Ted Cruz up, right? While Ted Cruz is in Congress reciting Democrat talking points, calling Americans terrorists, okay? They want to lock you up, Ted, right? They want to lock you up. Nothing that you say is going to change that, right? So you might as well come out here instead of tap dancing for the Democrats, show some real leadership, right? Like the governor down there in Florida, Ron DeSantis, whose take on this, in my opinion, should have been what Ted Cruz actually said. Take a look.
That if this is what you said it was, why are you not charging people? So I think it's going to end up being just a politicized Charlie Foxtrot today. I don't expect anything good to come out of anything that Pelosi and the gang are doing. I don't expect anything from the corporate press to be enlightening. I think it's going to be nauseating, quite frankly, and I'm not going to do it. But I do think that if you have this January 6th committee, why do we not know some of the people who we know were really involved in orchestrating this? They got pulled off the most wanted list. Christopher Wray was asked at the under oath what FBI was involved in that, and he would not answer the question. And so I think that this is something that has really been used for political narrative and posturing purposes. I don't think it's been effective. People here in Florida, they care about inflation and they care about gas prices and education and crime and all the key issues that are so important. And that's what they talk to me about. But there is an obsession with this amongst the DC, New York journalist class. And again, I think it's because it allows them to spin a narrative that they want to spin. They did not care as much about what happened after 2016 when you had a false Russia collusion conspiracy theory that was put on for years because they were involved when doing it, and how that may have damaged trust in institutions or all that. So I just think that it is what it is, but it's not something that I've been concerned about in my job here, because quite frankly, it's not something that most Floridians have been concerned about. They're concerned about
what's so hard about that? Ron DeSantis just came out here and gave the perfect answer on January 6th. Okay? First and foremost, there's some things that happened on January 6th that we really don't have answers to, right? We really don't have answers to. Some things that, reasonable people should have some questions about, right? Reasonable people should have some questions about who was involved in this, okay? Was this something that could have been prevented, right? There's a whole lot of questions that need to be answered. Doesn't seem like January 6th committee are actually trying to answer those real questions, right? More so than trying to use it as a political tool to smear conservatives and to go after the Republican Party, because that literally is what it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. But what Ron DeSantis is saying here is my whole point of this video, that January 6th and what happened that day is simply not a top priority for the average everyday American. It's just not. The average American does not wake up every single day thinking about what happened on January 6th like the mainstream liberal media wants you to think. For example, Brian Seltzer, he went out here today and tweeted at 8:40 this morning. He says, lead story on Fox Morning Show today. All 3 hours, COVID, Biden's administration's failures, maskless liberal lawmakers, Chicago schools, lead story on all other major morning shows, 1/6 anniversary. Only a few brief references of a 1/6 on Fox AM show today. Generic mentions about Biden's upcoming speech, plus this Brian Kilmeade point of view. Biden wants to talk only about January 6th and blame Donald Trump because he thinks that's the only thing he's going to get high ratings for. So, Brian Seltzer, again, whose show is failing, whose network is failing, especially in comparison to other shows like Joe Rogan and Fox News and Tucker Carlson and Hannity, that they love to smear, right? They love to smear, is sitting here trying to criticize Fox News for not engaging in the mass hysteria that the mainstream liberal media is trying to engage in when it comes to January 6th, right? They're talking about issues like Biden's failures, which include inflation, the border crisis, crime, even COVID, right? COVID. Okay, this is the first time I've ever seen the media critical of Fox News discussing COVID. Chicago schools closing, which negatively affects kids. Brian Seltzer is trying to frame this as if Fox News is not talking about the real issues, right, that are affecting American citizens, like January 6th. That's how he's framing it. And guys, this just goes to show you that January 6th is nothing but a political show. It is a political charade. That's all it is. That's all it is. Because again, like Ron DeSantis said, when he talks to his constituents, they're not talking about January 6th. They're talking about what is actually affecting their families. They're talking about what affects their wallets. They're talking about crime. They're talking about education. They're talking about real substantive issues. That's what they're talking about. But the mainstream liberal media wants to keep you distracted. They want to keep you just focused on this singular event, right? So that you don't focus on anything else. Don't pay attention to any of Biden's failures. Just pay attention to January 6th, right? And I think this is what they mean by mass formation psychosis, right? This might be what they're actually talking about here, right? This obsession with January 6th, okay? Just focus on that. Nothing else. Nothing else matters. So, like I said, man, today is probably going to be unbearable. But hey, I couldn't help but talk about it because that's all they're going to talk about today. So I figured that I would rail against the mainstream liberal media talking about this when there are quite simply bigger issues to talk about. And this day really, it shouldn't be compared to days like 9/11 and Pearl Harbor and stuff like that. And I think it's really disgusting that this is what sitting politicians are doing, right? I think it really is. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.